ॐ विश्वं दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यनिजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिरिवोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया यः साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयं तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलनः वैचित्रचित्रीकृतं मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यपि महायोगी वयस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः 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 सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम् यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततन्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः देवाय तस्मै. So thank you Gariji for introducing and welcome to this 1 month 4 weeks course on Bhagavad Gita along with the Bhashyam. Whenever we study any text, we should know the purpose of studying, spending time, our resources, etc. That clarity only gives a person a commitment for the study. So that is very important. So let us begin with the question, why should we study Bhagavad Gita? Or why should we study Vedanta? Or why should we have a spiritual life? What is there available in the world? Let's pursue all those things and spend the time. Why one should sit somewhere in this kind of place and study? This question, if I have a very clear answer on this, then my commitment to the study will come. So all the time we should, this is my request to all of you, is that you should always ask this question, why should I study? Vedanta Sara, why should I study? Bhagavad Gita, why should I study? Upanishad, what is the benefit I am going to get? That's how we have a Anubandha Chatushtaya, We have Anubandha Chatushtaya. What is the subject matter? Who is the person who is qualified to study that subject matter? What will be the benefit, purpose of study? What will I get ultimately? All these things should be clear. Then you will be, if they are clear and if you are interested, then you will be connected to this text or a study. That's called bandha, anubandha, pashat badhyate. So that you will be later connected, once you have this homework done, then you will be connected to this. So let's spend some time. Why should we study? Answering this question, why should we study? Is it not an alternate, spiritual life is not an alternate for a material life. Either one should pursue a material life or either one should pursue a spiritual life. One of them should be there, which can serve the fulfillment in a human life. So, well, all these questions I am going to answer. Then we will enter into the Bhashyam later. So, it may take some time. Anyway, so if you see a human life, you will see here that it is very difficult to gain this human life. That's for sure. Either from the science standpoint, scientific standpoint, or either from the what is Shastra standpoint. Human life is very rare to achieve. From the science standpoint, if you see the evolution, etc., Darwin's evolution, or any theory they have, well, they say they take it, I mean, the human being has come after millions of years of evolution from the ape, right? So it is very difficult, it seems. Or from Shastra standpoint, well, we always say that human life is very difficult because there are so many yonis, so many janmas are there in our front. We see so many species, and in each species there are subspecies, like in fish or even a trees or anything or an insect, viruses, bacteria, animals, so many birds, so many species are there. So to gain in all of them, gain a human body is definitely rare. Even if one doesn't believe in Shastra, at least from common sense standpoint, one can understand that to gain this human birth is very difficult. So from Shastra, Shastra says, well, Manushyana, this Narajanma Durlabham. Narajanma Durlabham. So means this gain a human birth is very rare. So either from the science standpoint or from the Shastra standpoint, well, it is very evident that this life is very precious, very, very rare to achieve. And now, if I compare with other species, animals, birds, etc., one thing is very certain, that they don't have a free will, right? No one has the free will to choose a goal, etc. And let's take a cow. A cow, when a cow is born as a calf, and in the process, well, it becomes a mature, physically mature. And it also becomes emotionally mature. You never have a question that this cow is immature. No one says like this. Swamiji, this cow is immature. Immature means emotionally immature. Physically, even though mature, but you won't say, Swamiji, but even though it is a 60-year-old, 20-year-old cow, but it is emotionally or immature. You won't say that. Means a physically mature cow is also emotionally mature. And means a cow gains a fulfillment in its life. Once it gives a birth, it survives a few years and then it becomes a mature physically, gives a birth to a calf, and few more years it survives, eating here and there grass. Well, it is fine. It's enough. It's enough. We say cow has fulfilled its life. No one say, well, the cow has gone. It's dead now without fulfilling any its goal. No one say. If someone says, we will consider that person as an insane person. Insane person. Other than human being, about any species you won't mention like this. Or this peacock is emotionally immature. Swami, what are you speaking? So, well, but regarding human life, human being, we say that. Swami, he is 50-year-old, but he is very, very mature. He is a 50-year-old, physically mature? No, but that's not enough. You say it is emotionally immature. And looks like one who is emotionally immature is an unwelcome thing. Looks like. Yeah. Means you expect that a human life, a human being should grow physically at the same time emotionally. It's expected. It's expected. But why it doesn't happen in the case of a human being and it happens in the case of a cow? Well, because here there is a free will. You have to initiate. You may not initiate physical growth. You may survive few years, eat here and there, jump around, play games, and one day you will find a mustache or so it's fine. So you grow. So that and you have to take care of. You have an instinct to survive, and you take care that well, this virus should not attack me, this thing should not attack me in order to survive. And one day you find you are a physically mature cow, a mature person. But at the same time, you won't have this emotional maturity, and therefore, well, it is to be initiated. And why it is expected that one should be emotionally mature? Because the emotionally mature person is a sane person. We consider that way. Is a sane person. One who is a sane person enjoys life. An insane person doesn't enjoy the life. That's for sure. That's for sure. So, and we also know, now I'm bifurcating. There are thousands of people, all are physically mature, let's say. Man now. But and they all have gone, gained certain material benefits also, material wealth, etc. All this. Yet we call this person as emotionally immature, right? Therefore, this seems to be this emotional maturity. It doesn't come with it doesn't come with your wealth. As the wealth grows, emotional maturity grows. No. No. And at the same time, in a society, it is all the time welcome that person should be emotionally mature, sane person, etc. And therefore, there is some factor which can help the person to grow emotionally, which cannot be that promise of growing into emotional mature person cannot be fulfilled by one's wealth, one's power, one's education, nothing. One's relationship with the world, no. Something else is required to make the person emotionally mature, and that is welcome thing. We like the person who is emotionally mature. That is where Shastra enters. Therefore, this is something which I really can't bypass. We have to see further, which we really can't bypass. The joy in life, the inner comfort in life, etc. While all goes with emotional maturity. The person who is emotionally fragile, he cannot make others happy. Neither he or she can make herself, himself happy person. It has no bearing. This emotional immaturity or fragility, and born of that, well, with the sorrow, etc., has no bearing in any material thing in the world. Whatever your qualifications, either even from the premier institutes, anything, or your good background, family background, your wealth, your holdings, nothing. It has no bearing at all. Therefore, material growth, etc., fine. Definitely we require. But there is something else we require in order to enjoy the life. Yeah. And that is a Shastra. We have to see that, how Bhagavad Gita helps in that. So, this should be there should be a goal in human life. Once one has to initiate this emotional maturity. If one doesn't initiate, well, one can remain a child even at the age of 65. Yeah, with all fragility and all kinds of insistences, and all the time, becoming unhappy person, etc. Well, this is there. Therefore, one has to initiate. And why one has to initiate? Because you are given a free will. If you are given a free will, you can definitely choose your goal. One of the goal is emotional maturity. Yeah. And therefore, well, now let's talk about goals. So there are 4 goals, as we said. We call Purusharthaha. Purushaihi arthyate iti Purusharthaha. So Purushaihi, Manushaihi, Naraihi arthyate, which is sought after by all the human beings in this world, is called Purushartha, the goal. So each person has thousands and thousands of goals in one's life. Few of them you fulfill, few of them you are yet to fulfill. And therefore, well, and then there are billions of people, and therefore the goal should be billions. But no. Shastra is so ingenious to talk that any time, well, I mean, in a human life, there are only four goals. It may be American, it may be Asian, or it may be any other person, even Eskimo. Only there are four goals. Yeah. And first is a goal of a security. Security is the first goal, definitely. First security and then comes pleasure. So security is a goal, which we call artha. And there are three types of securities. First is, well, a social security. First is economical security. The second is a social security. The third is a emotional security. And in order to gain all three types of securities, a human being fulfills all these three types of securities through few things, like your money, your bank account, I mean money, etc. Will fulfill your economical security. Then there are relationships, etc. Well, name, fame, etc. Name, fame, etc. Recognition, well, power will fulfill your social security, and relationship, etc. Through that you fulfill your emotional security, right? So these are the varieties of the securities, well, which we want to fulfill through this, and therefore we have a goal of a money, power, name, fame, recognition, and even a real estate and relationship, house, etc. All this also are goal, but ultimately it's called artha. All they are meant for security. Three types of security. This is the first. And any human being, you can see this goal will be there. The second one is a goal of a pleasure, naturally. And pleasure also of three types. Three types of pleasures are there. First is a pleasure born through the senses, or the contact between the senses and the sense objects, like a form, color form, or sound, right? All this. So a ear comes in contact with certain sound and you get a joy. Eyes see certain things, certain form, color, and you get a joy, like that. So it's a sensory pleasure. So first type of pleasure. Second is a intellectual pleasure, which is quite different from the sensory pleasure. Intellectual pleasures born of learning something, right? Getting admission in some college, pursuing some knowledge, and as you study, you gain clarity and you get a joy. That is not a sensory pleasure. It's definitely intellectual pleasure. Or somebody gives you a puzzle and you solve it and you get a joy. It's not a sensory pleasure, it's an intellectual pleasure. So this is a second type of pleasure, intellectual pleasure. The third one is a aesthetic pleasures. Everyone doesn't have that. Most of the people have a sensory pleasure. Few of them will have an intellectual pleasure. Fewer than that. And even much fewer than that even will have aesthetic pleasures. Aesthetic pleasures born of even reading the poems and enjoying, or going to the nature, or let's say sitting in the night on the terrace and enjoy the sky. Now this everyone doesn't. Even a friend of mine, if I sit and try to enjoy it, my friend will say, "What are you doing? Why are you sitting? You are insane person. Come down." so I mean, pleasure born of a certain music. No, sorry, music means it is with ear. No, I'm talking about a classical music, etc. Where everyone cannot enjoy. So, like that, this kind of pleasures, or just people even watch a opening of a bird into a flower. They keep watching and watching and watching. Certain people definitely even enjoy a birth of a calf from the cow, or from an animal. Not the process. They just enjoy. We feel, what is there? Actually, it is dirty, Swamiji. What is there to see? People enjoy paintings. Yeah. If you tell me that, Swamiji, let's go to a gallery and let's then I will finish within 2 minutes and come out. And the other person, he takes so much of time, 1 hour on one painting. So this is, it requires a certain infrastructure. Everyone doesn't have it. And therefore, this kind of pleasures are called aesthetic pleasures, much different from the intellectual and sensory pleasure. Very few people will have it. Even people enjoy a coffee. If you give me a coffee, any coffee, I will just finish it. I say, and you ask me how was the coffee, Swamiji? Oh, it was wonderful. The other person, even after drinking the whole, he says, Swamiji, I didn't enjoy. Why? Oh, it was not a Starbucks. What is there in Starbucks? Or what is there in... Or Swamiji used to enjoy Narsu coffee. Narsu. It is a brand in India. Narsu coffee. Special coffee. So Swamiji could distinguish flavor and taste and everything, which I doesn't have that infrastructure. I mean, could you follow what I'm saying? For me, even a Dunkin' Donuts coffee also will be all right. Oh, Swamiji, that's very... Anyway, so this kind of a pleasure, people enjoy, so many things I can talk. If you give me a bowl of a soup, I say, it's wonderful. What wonderful, Swami? This is nothing. You should have this kind of a soup, a veg clear soup, and this and that. My God. In that also there are certain flavors. So this is in every field. Enjoying a certain colors. Somebody told me in a blue color there are some 1,000 shades. In one blue color there are 1,000 shades. For me, all 1,000 is one. Because we are Advaitin, right? And therefore, for everything we have, just everything is non-dual. But there are people, they say, no, this shade is not good on the wall. We should have this kind of a shade and this and that. And according to the carpet should be like this. And this is an aesthetic pleasure. This is called aesthetic pleasure. Please understand this. So these three types of pleasures are there in human life. Goals, called kama. This is called kama, the second purushartha. Then the third one is dharma. Most of the people do not have this as a goal. Religions also don't talk about it. No religion talks about a dharma, I'm going to describe, as a goal. Every religion have a do's and don'ts. Yeah, means they have to follow. People don't keep them as a goal. But just because their holy scripture talks about it and therefore they follow. That's it. Out of compulsion. We are talking about goal based on your free will. So that is something different. Dharma has several meanings. Several meanings. But what I am talking, dharma as a goal, means this is also a happiness. Happiness is a goal. Pleasure is a goal. Joy is a goal. This is dharma also. Kama also is a pleasure, born of sensory pleasure or intellectual or aesthetic. Dharma also is a pleasure born of something different, which makes it different from kama. Pleasure born of sharing. Pleasure born of making friendship. Pleasure born of alleviating someone's pain. This is very different. Very, very different from the sensory pleasure, intellectual pleasure, or even aesthetic pleasure. Dharma means I have a goal of getting a joy, not born of senses, not born of an intellectual solving puzzles, etc. Not aesthetic. Still I can have a goal of a joy born of this, living a life of harmony. Gives a joy. Harmony means joy, disharmony means sadness. That's a different. This is what one has to initiate. This is what one has to initiate. Therefore I say, Artha Kama you will find those goals with everyone. Even though it is based on free will, but people definitely go for it. But this is something which few people will initiate. If you ask 10 people, you will find hardly one or two will say, yeah, I always look for such kind of a joy, born of sharing, living a life of harmony, alleviating pains, someone's pain, doing something what is to be done. So, because why Swamiji it is like this? Because it requires a certain, even before I go into that, even doctors can enjoy this type of a joy, can have this kind of a joy, because they help in alleviating someone's pain, getting rid of disease, etc. Anyway, so why this Arthakama is there with the entire world goal for the whole human? Why this is not there? Because it requires a certain sensitivity of around, of surrounding. And sensitivity at the same time, it also requires a certain understanding of the scheme of things, and in that scheme of things your placement, and in the scheme of things what is this world, what is the cause of this world, Ishvara, and how how he functions. Because we see the functioning of the universe well is responsible for your sustenance of your life, because anything which sustains your life comes from outside, and therefore it has to function. World has to function, right? Even you get a I mean which sustains, I mean food which sustains your life comes from outside, and food is prepared, right? Whether rain and this and that and everything, entire world is functioning, universe is functioning, so that your life is sustained. All this understanding is required. That can bring, the understanding can bring a certain sensitivity, and well then that it can also bring a certain a sense of obligation towards the world. Well, the whole life is working for me, for my sustenance, let me fulfill these obligations towards the world. So doing something what is to be done. So I will talk about it. It's a very big topic, very, very big topic, and fortunately discussed very well in Bhagavad Gita. Very well. You won't find this topic in Upanishad. Upanishad well talks to the person who is already a dharmika, who is already having this goal, who is getting this kind of a joy, living a life of harmony with the world, living a life of harmony with the Ishvara, because ultimately everything is Ishvara. And therefore, well, such a person, to that person, the Upanishad addresses that you are Brahman, etc. So my point is, this is what which is to be initiated, really initiated. For that you need this kind of an understanding. For that you have to study the scriptures, etc. And you will find, then you become sensitive to it. Even love also is like this. Love also needs love. Definition of love is nothing but an understanding of other person, and understanding the other person with the background and accepting the person totally. That's called love. Understand the person, not acceptance without understanding. That will not work. That just doesn't work. Swamiji, I accept the person. You cannot accept the person really unless you understand the person. Yeah. Therefore, first thing is you understand the person, that this person has certain habits, way of talking, way of this, because of certain background. You appreciate a background. You need not go into the background because you cannot. You cannot. Person may not open up to you all what, I mean, his childhood, etc. Nothing. But there is a background because of which the person behaves the way he behaves or she behaves. So all this is called understanding, and that brings a certain sympathy in you. That gives a little space in you, and so you accept a person. That's called love. Love is unconditional, totally unconditional. You accept the person not because he or she will accept you and therefore you accept. No, unconditionally you accept the person, looking into these things, background, etc. So even love also needs certain understanding and sensitivity. That's how there are people who are not so sensitive. They cannot love the other person. In order to love, definitely you should have this. But anyway, so my point is this goal of dharma, of course, and love brings joy again. See, now I can connect it that way. Love always brings a joy. So dharma is a goal, and if you initiate this, definitely your life will become simple. I consider life as a simple life where you need not have to depend on thousands of things for a joy. You are a simply happy person for just doing something what is to be done. Well, a life which is a complex life means the person definitely has to depend upon the world, a certain arrangement around in order to be happy person. It's a complex life. That kind of a person will not be a happy person all the time. His happiness totally depend upon the fulfillment of a certain criteria around, and world is not obliged to fulfill all the time. Therefore, in life, a human being is a simple human being if he or she remains happy without much reason. That can come with this goal. How? How? Well, here I said you have to initiate this. Elevating someone's pain is in your hand. Living a life of harmony is in your hand. Making a friendship with others is in your hand. It's in your hand. Doing something what is to be done is in your hand. That gives a joy. That gives a joy. This is the person we call emotionally mature person. This person is a happy person. He is physically mature. At the same time, well, due to his initiation into this, doing something what is to be done, etc., and remaining sensitive towards the others, helping others to fulfill their goals. So many things we can say. Loving others unconditionally. Well, we call such a person emotionally mature person. Therefore, now you can easily connect. A emotionally mature person is a happy person. We want people to be emotionally mature. We don't want any person to be fragile emotionally. We get literally fearful dealing with such people. Very, very fearful. Because all the time we have fear, this person will, Swamiji, I don't know, I don't want to talk to that person. Why? Like, as if the person is going to meet a tiger or a tigress or no, I don't want to meet, you meet. Yeah. Anyway. And when you have such joy, simple joys in your life, you need not have to worry, you need not have to depend upon various situations. Otherwise, life will be a drag. Without understanding and sensitivity, life is simply a drag. Monday to Friday. Because he doesn't enjoy what he's doing in the office or anywhere else. He doesn't enjoy. So he waits for the Friday. Yeah. And then Saturday, Sunday he goes out in order to get joy, in order to, in fact, forget himself. In order to forget himself, and then again back to the work on Monday. So this is how. Well, so such person, and if you have this goal in your life, such simple things can give you a joy in your life. You do not have to do a big thing in order to get a joy. That's fine. That's wonderful. And as I said, well, what is to be done, I do. Because the entire world does what is to be done. Sun shines. It has to do that. And it does. Even after 100 years, in times of India, it comes, That's 2124. January March so-and-so date. The sunrise will be at this time. They are sure that sun will do what it is designed to do by Ishvara. Fire will do what it is designed to do. Everything does what is to be done by them. Swadharma Anushtanam. And therefore, if human being also, if human being wants to live a life of harmony with the cosmos, he also should do what is to be done. And that is why when you do what is to be done, you get a joy. Just think, even doing a laundry. Doing a laundry, till you don't do, you will, that remains in a load. Load is there of the clothes, but that whole load remains here. Doing emails, even calling parents in India, all this, or even listening to one's spouse. That itself, some people they just avoid. She wants to talk. He comes purposely, late, and takes food and she said, I want to talk to you regarding our children. And he said, I don't have, I get tired today. And you keep postponing. But when you start from the office and coming to the home, in a car also you all feel that I have not talked to her, she wants to talk, and I haven't talked to her, all load remains. And the day you decide to do and you do, what happens? Please tell me. What happens? It's a joy. That joy is not born of senses. That joy is not intellectual. That joy is not aesthetic. Could you follow now? This is something different, which really makes you elevated from the people who are generally have only two goals, artha and kama. This is something really different. This is the person who is really welcomed by all. Yeah. Who is welcomed by all. Who is the center of attraction for all. Any dharmika, any religious person, this way, who is doing what is to be done, who is helping all the time, who lives in harmony with others, such person is always welcome. You need not have to love yourself. The people around him or her loves the person so much that you start loving yourself. Generally, what happens when others don't love you, you also reject yourself. Yeah. He need not have to put any special effort. When others love him or her so much, so he starts loving himself. There is acceptance of oneself. There is no condemnation of oneself. Very healthy person. Emotionally healthy person. Physically one may have, but emotionally healthy person. This is emotional maturity. This is a goal, third goal, dharma. That's how, since this is a little higher goal, come in these three goals of artha, kama and dharma, we keep first dharma, artha, kama. Means I am doing what is to be done, and also I have a pursuit of artha and kama, I am pursuing, but all the time keeping dharma in front. I don't want to pursue artha and kama at the cost of dharma. Dharma is first for me, because that itself is giving me, a self-acceptability, self-love, joy, harmony, everything. So such person will not have much bearing on kama. Sensory pleasures I may want at this moment itself, I may not get. Intellectual pleasure I want at this moment, I may not get. Because that all depends upon external situation, where the factor of karma phala, prarabdha comes into the picture. Therefore, you may get, you may not get. It's not depending upon your free will, right? It doesn't depend. I want, but at this moment I may not get. So it doesn't depend upon my free will. Whereas the joy born of dharma is in my hand. So in getting joy, you are more independent if you have a pursuit of dharma. that will qualify the person for moksha. Where Upanishad tells to such a person, you are Ananda, he can understand very well because he already is getting a joy independently through dharma. So the person who has a dharma purushartha in one's life, definitely he is qualified for moksha. Person who is having arthakama pursuit is not qualified for moksha. Definitely not. But dharma definitely makes a person qualified because he already is independent of getting joy. His life is simple. He is a more or less a happy person. To such a happy person, if Shastra says you are happiness by nature, etc., Ananda by nature, etc., well, he is able to appreciate it. That's the thing. Fourth, moksha. Now, fourth is a moksha. Moksha is a pursuit generally pursued by very few in in the world. And Swamiji, what is that? On what is the basis on which you are saying that? Well, how many people are here? You can see now, or even with the people who have joined here. Few, very few. Even though everyone wants moksha, whole world, there is no defect. I'm going to prove it now. There is no defect in the creation. Any human being who is born with a love for freedom. Nobody loves dependence. Nobody loves bondage. Nobody. Only one struggles and struggles and struggles. Human heart struggles for freedom. But one doesn't know how to gain that freedom. That's how moksha doesn't remain as a goal for all. Even though one wants freedom, everyone wants freedom, but how to gain that freedom, one doesn't know. And therefore, as a chosen goal of gaining freedom, and what are the means, etc., for that, with that such a clarity, there are only few, very few in the world. Moksha is, we call freedom, in fact in Shastra it is described in a little negative sense. Freedom means we feel it is a positive thing, but the description is in a negative sense actually. And I can give you the example. We use generally word freedom with like the person who is in a jail. We say Swamiji, he is having a bondage, shackles, And when the person comes out of the jail, we say he has a freedom from the bondage, freedom from shackles of the jail. So it is a negative sense actually, freedom from bondage. Freedom is always defined as a freedom from bondage, freedom from something which you don't want. That way it is negative, I'm saying. And as I said you, a human heart really loves freedom. You can see that. Even a child, small child, and crawling and starts and he gets up and wants to walk. Initially it will take help of either a mother's sari or take a help of a wall. Take a help of a wall. But you will see, the moment it feels that he or she, the child, is able to stand on his own or walk on its own, it will leave the ball, or it will leave even the mother's sari also. Means it doesn't want to remain bound to the sari. And therefore, or even an old person, let's say now, even an old person who is having a leg fracture and has the crutches, and he has to use crutches because he can't stand on his own. But he will ask to his doctor every day, when will I leave these crutches? When will I be able to leave the crutches? He doesn't want. He uses crutches in order to get rid of crutches. He wants freedom, right? So freedom is really, I mean, human heart is seeking freedom either, I mean, from the childhood to the old age, all the time. So freedom means freedom from something which I don't want. Since we are talking about the human goal, universal human goal, here also freedom from something which I don't want should be common to all the human beings. So while there are few things from which any human being doesn't want, wants to get rid of it. Any human being. First is a sense of insecurity. Every human being is feeling so, and one wants to get rid of this sense of insecurity. Freedom from insecurity. That is why we have a goal of artha. We have a goal of artha, securities, because I want a freedom from insecurity. That's it. So this is a first. The second one is a freedom from displeasure, uneasiness, self non-acceptance, limitations centered on oneself. I know I'm a limited being. I am a conscious being. I know I'm a limited being. Naturally, being conscious, I can judge myself. Where there is a self-consciousness total, there will be self-judgment. And in my judgment, well, I see myself as a very limited being. And I'm not happy with that. I can't accept myself as a limited being. Therefore, freedom from limitations, freedom from uneasiness centered on I, freedom from self non-acceptance, etc. That's the second. Because I look upon myself as a displeased self. Therefore, I want a freedom from this. So there are two types of things. And for that, we have a goal of kama, naturally, pleasure. Whenever anything which gives you, which pleases you, when you come in contact with such object, what will you have? You basically drop self-loath. In that moment, you accept yourself totally. You see yourself full self. That's called joy. You see yourself without limitations. You don't have any uneasiness centered on I. If you have uneasiness centered on yourself and have a joy, impossible. Impossible. In a moment of joy, you accept yourself totally. You can say that way. Either way you say. So that's how we have another goal called kama, in order to get rid of this. Freedom from displeasure, second. Freedom from insecurity and freedom from displeasure. So these are the things which any human being doesn't want. Freedom, we call it as a bondage also. Freedom from bondage, you can say. Anyway, and well, in this, when will you have a moksha? Well, when I look upon myself as totally secure and totally acceptable to myself, or I see myself as a limitless, because I have a limitation. When will I have moksha? Well, I have become free from all limitations. The day you see yourself as a secure and free from any limitation, well, you have a moksha. Am I right? Naturally. And in gaining this moksha, means seeing yourself totally secure, seeing yourself totally free from limitations, well, 2 legs, 2 hands, 1 head are not enough. Because the list is very big. This gives me security. I got it. Fine. Now, are you secure? No. Something else. Something else. It's like on airports there are they have that that list of the flights which are now coming and arriving and departure and all that, the whole chart. And so you will see that certain flights have departed already. I always used to see that when all the flights will be departed, then the chart will be empty. That day has never come. You will see that the flight which has departed, of course, that is gone from the chart. But then something else comes up. Something else comes up. Something else comes up. Chart remains full. the chart of a mind remains full with the items which can make me secure and happy person. Full. And in that you see that two hands, two legs, little bit knowledge, little bit skill, and with your power, you are not able to fulfill. So you start your life after study, bachelor's, masters, PhDs, and then you start earning money, and you are getting certain securities, pleasures, in order to see yourself secure and pleased self. By the time 15, 20 years gone, now you are 40. You have got so many things now. You have a wife, children, or a husband, either way. And you have a house, you have some money, you have 2 cars, you have certain bank balance, stock holdings, you have good relationship around. But you see yourself as the same insecure, displeased person as you were at the age of 24, perhaps more displeased. That brings a crisis in one's life. They call it as a mid-life crisis, where one tries to find a scapegoat around. Who is responsible for the crisis? Sir, you are responsible. No, she is responsible. I lived with her for 15 years and she is not able to make me either a secure or happy person. She is responsible. She says, you are responsible to, bring a hell in my life. And therefore, yeah. People then say, well, let's have our own spaces. Or you may continue with a certain, because of a certain social fear and this and that. This is a crisis in human life. But that's why we are talking about 15, 20 years. Let another 20 years go. It is the same story. Same story. Everyone has the same story to write. Honestly. You can you bring a single person in to me who can say that I am totally secure and a happy person? No. With thousands of things you keep adding in your life, day by day. Every day I go out, lots of things I bring in to my home, and thinking that, and I will arrange them accordingly. People think that way also. We need not acquire many things in our life. Whatever things are there, we should arrange. That's how people, sometimes the sofa is there and the table is here, they arrange something. I'm different arrangement. And then stand on the center and look around and feel happy. After a few days, again the same story. Again you arrange. This is what we are doing. You can understand, I'm showing you the limitation of a material life, actually. Yeah. So, I can now say, this is a distinction should take place in a human life. If that distinction occurs, you have a great punyam. I'm telling you. What I'm going to say now. That distinction should occur. Otherwise, life will remain as before, without fulfilling the goal of moksha. Really speaking, we don't want securities and pleasures. We want a freedom from insecurity and freedom from displeasure, freedom from limitations and all. Because I keep on adding securities, because nothing has removed my insecurity centered on I. Therefore, I don't have any choice but to add more. Right? Am I right or wrong? Even objects of pleasure, we are going to discuss that also. Objects of pleasure, we keep on adding. But still I feel a limited guy, a limited self non-acceptance is there. Therefore, I keep on adding and adding. But at this point, if a person gets this kind of a distinction in understanding, or let's say discrimination in understanding, that really speaking, I don't want artha and kama, really speaking, I don't want securities and pleasures, I want a freedom from insecurity. I want a freedom. Freedom from insecurity, freedom from self non-acceptance, I want to see myself as a secure and pleased self. Only that is the interest. And in order to fulfill that, if I don't understand, if I don't understand, then I try to fulfill through the various objects. If that understanding comes, there will be a turning in human life. That's called a turning towards a spiritual goal. If there is no turning, keep going in a wrong direction. After 20 years also you did not get that goal, another 20 years, you will find, well, Swamiji, now it's all sunset. Yeah, yeah. People go several miles in a wrong direction, several miles. And they don't ask to anybody. They go several miles. One person told me there's some 70 miles or 100 miles he moved. Then they found this is not the road. Then they asked somebody, they said, no, you go back now. 100 miles. So this is how the situation is. But here there is no, it's irreversible. Human life is very rare. And once you cross a certain, age limit, well, you finish rest of the years without much. Anyway, but few people gain this discrimination. We call Purushartha Viveka. That I am really interested in not Artha and Kama, I am interested in Moksha, freedom. Freedom from insecurity I want. Not that I want securities. And he has done certain homework. That this thing I was looking upon as a source of security, but it has not made. I have increased. I have pursued more and more, yet I remain insecure. And therefore the issue is lying somewhere else. Not in acquiring something. That's a different understanding altogether. But what is responsible for such understanding? Punyam. Great punyam. To get such a turn. Turn doesn't mean that to take a sannyasa. Please understand very well. No, not at all. Not at all. You keep pursuing artha and kama, but for some other purpose. I will talk to you. So please, otherwise Swami wants other Swamis and Swaminis. No, not at all. That is not freedom, where you have to drop something which you like. What you like, if I say freedom from what you like, it's not moksha. I said freedom from something which you don't like. Therefore, Swamiji, if artha and kama I have to drop, but which I like it, then we don't want such freedom. Yeah, please understand. So freedom from something which you like, then it is not moksha. Freedom from something which you don't like, yes, that's moksha. Insecurity you like? No. Well, we are talking about that. Self non-acceptance, limitation centered on I, uneasiness centered on I, you like? No, we don't like. Well, we are talking about it. Freedom from that. Could you follow? And therefore, well, this discrimination should be done. Otherwise, the person, a person who doesn't have enough punyam, will take himself, herself as insecure, as a reality, and security is lying somewhere in the world, and I have to gain it. It is my goal. Believe me. This is how generally a human life is. A human life is a human being in general. While has this kind of a life, while pursuing varieties of the securities in the world, looking upon himself, herself as insecure, as a reality. I am insecure as a reality, and I have to acquire securities lying somewhere. I will acquire it, become secure. And same for pleasure also. Anyway, and even certain our religions also help in this way. Also, money is a source of security in this world. That's for sure. But what about the other worlds? Well, this will not help. This money, currency, dollar bills will not help there. Then what will help? You perform certain such karmas, gain punyam, and gain that higher loka, where you live a long and you will have a security. So other religions also sometime add into this. But when you look into this whole thing, you will find that how hollow the whole thing is. I will tell you. Like a child whose security lies in the love and care of parents. Right? And therefore, parents are a source of security because child looks upon. Parents' love and care are really the source of security for the child. Now that child grows. As the child grows and becomes married, now parent security lies in child. How is it possible? If parents are a source of security, their love and care is a source of security, then they should remain as a source of security forever. But no, as the child now has grown up and got married, now parents' security lies in child. Was looking upon as security in parents. Now parents look upon this is, and many parents complain also. Our children don't take care of us. They don't pay any attention to us because now the grown-up child has looks upon as a source of security somewhere else. You know very well. He looks upon somewhere else. And so parents are literally. So this is how it is. So what you look upon as a source of security varies in fact so much that shows that really speaking, one looks upon oneself as a insecure person, and that is why one looks upon outside as a source of security, but it is not so. What I look upon as a source of security, that turns out to be insecure because it's born of time, etc. Well, that is not correct. Anyway, so basically, so my point is, we are going to discuss little further. My point is this thing that I lack security itself is an issue. Security, acquiring security is not an issue. I lack security. I'm insecure means I lack security is a issue. I lack is a issue basically. Yeah. I lack is a issue. Otherwise, suppose there is some source of security somewhere, everyone should gain it and become secure. But that doesn't happen. It varies. Today I look upon something as a source of security, I drop it. And I look upon something else as a source of security. Then I look upon something else as a source of security. Therefore, I lack security is a issue basically. Could you follow what I am saying? I lack is a issue. And that what I lack varies from culture to culture, varies from human being to human being. But I lack is a issue with every human being. And what I lack has a knack actually of multiplying itself. Yeah. What I lack I always go to I'm talking about myself. I always make a list of items that which I really want. And I go to BG's, right? BG's, yeah. Something I have to say. Costco, BG's, something. And I go there, buy a few things. But when I come out, I have another list ready, for which of course I could not buy this week. I will have to wait for the next paycheck, And then, so point is, what I lack is always a knack of multiplying itself. So I lack itself is a very big issue. And therefore, now we have to address this issue. Basically, and when I say like this, I'm not talking against any artha or kama, frankly speaking. I'm not, in fact, talking against money also. But when you look upon money as a source of security, then definitely there will never be an end in your life. That how much money can make you secure has no limit. So money has no issue. Money is a Lakshmi, in fact. Money is not an issue. But when you look upon money as a source of security, then it becomes an issue. Because no money can make you secure. No money. Whatever you say. Now, Swamiji, this $1 million. No, I'm telling you. In fact, they are really insecure people. They are really insecure. They cannot move around. We can move around. We can just go out and, a billionaire has to, they have a lot of threats. Anyway, so, and even if it is not there, you ask the person that are you really secure person, he will say no. If he's your friend, he or she is a friend. I'm telling you. Even a little disease occurs in your body, something, a simple tumor, he will be frightened. So fear is always there. Fear of death, fear of disease, fear of this, old age, everything will remain. So remain insecure, totally. Anyway, so basically, money, when you look upon as a source of security, well, there will be issue. That is the issue addressed by Shastra. Not you should not seek money. That is the issue. One should seek money because ultimately one sustains one's life through money. Study of Bhagavad Gita cannot help you to gain money, frankly speaking. Yeah. But definitely Bhagavad Gita helps you in your perception that, well, if you look upon it as a source of security, well, that is a big issue. But Swamiji, I would like to ask one question, Swamiji. What? When I get some money, I definitely feel secure. Right? When you count dollars, suppose you have $10,000, every day you count, well, you feel some security, you feel like security. Feeling secure is one thing and becoming secure is an entirely different thing. Yeah. I will give you an example. When a person who has a leg fracture stands with the crutches, right? He feels secure? Yeah, feels secure. But suppose if you remove it, then can we say that he has really become secure? No. He is feeling secure because of the crutches. He is really not secure. If he is really secure, he can drop it. He can drop crutches now because he is secure. This is the situation. Money is our crutches. So as they are there, we feel little secure. But frankly speaking, anything happens with the stock holdings or anything happens or we have to share with our children and now it's going away, we immediately feel something. No, how much we should give because ultimately I have to save for myself, etc., etc. I mean, so they are all like crutches. So when they are there, we feel that we are secure. And frankly speaking, we have not become secure. Why? But Swamiji, why is like this? Simple equation. What is insecure cannot make you secure. That's it. Money is really secure. If money is secure, you can drop it outside because nobody can touch it. It's a secure. Nobody, you see that your money, you keep it safe. Why? Oh, somebody will take away. So money itself is insecure. When money itself is insecure, how is going to make secure? In fact, insecure plus insecure, Puja Swami used to say, will be not security, but double insecurity. That is, we have seen even with the, this is general. Puja Swami used to give an example of a married person. But anyway, so generally person marries for what security? Generally, they say like that, always. A boy or girl is advised all the time, oh, you marry, how long we will be there with you? You cannot be this, that, etc. The person is working in Hyderabad and they are, parents are in Ahmedabad and then he used to call mom because he likes, what mom makes food. And she comes and then she advises, now get married, with a suitable girl, etc. Oh, I will do that, I will do that. Then one day she got angry and she said, well, I will not come again, even if you call. How long we will be there? We have our own things, this, etc. Therefore, ultimately you decide that you will marry. You are insecure and then you should settle, they say. You should settle in your life. Settling means becoming secure. You should settle. And you marry person, spouse, which is equally insecure. In fact, she marries to you in order for security. You marry to her. It's a double insecurity. There is no bigger hell than that. Yeah. Puja Swamiji gave an example, I remember, that a person, there was a person who was taking a bath on the bank of the river, and river was in spat. A lot of water was there. So the person got slipped into that. He didn't know swimming. And so he was carried on. So he said, "Oh Lord, help me, I will die, I will drown and die." And by the time a log came, and he thought, Lord has come in the form of a log. So he caught hold of it. And then he was, touching and spreading his hand over. He found that there are fur on that. And then later he touched other things. He found a leg with nails. Then he thought a Lord has come in the form of a what? But ultimately, it was a grizzly bear. So now he wanted to go away from that. But now the grizzly bear has a too tight hold on that. The grizzly bear wanted to save itself with this log, our fellow. And fellow was wanted to save himself with this grizzly bear. It's not going to work. Our habits are also like that. All our habits are like that. Yeah, people, Puja Swamiji's example was, I just for fun I'm saying, he used to, it's 10:42, my God, I'm sorry. We'll talk in afternoon, in second class. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.
Thank you, Swamiji.
Yeah.
Swamiji.
Thank you.
We'll have a.
Swamiji,
Yeah.
Thank you.
Swamiji, do we have Panchadashi class now?
No. It's very difficult. How will I manage so many classes? My point is, we'll have a class in the afternoon, and